Howdy, hey folks. Today I want to go into more of what I'm seeing around kind of the future of content, especially with AI summaries, search, and Google's newest announcement from I/O 2024. If you haven't seen it, AI overviews, which maybe you've seen before and played with as part of a test with Search Generative Experience, is going to start becoming more commonplace or even the preferred option according to Google. And you're going to start seeing a lot more like AI run services coming out of Google in the coming months. And it's copying and following a lot of this really big shift from traditional web experiences into ones that are AI driven. OpenAI is doing something very similar. Google's got this. Microsoft's got Copilot. And there's a lot of talk around what content futures even look like. Like, what will happen as we keep publishing content? Is it going to turn anything of value? Is it going to, are we going to get something out of it, essentially? What's our value exchange? And I'll walk through what I'm seeing now. I'm still doing a lot of research, and there's still a lot to be figured out. But I think the short answer really is no one's quite sure, especially around the distribution front, how to get in front of customers in your audience with the change in Google. But let me walk through some of what I'm seeing so far today. I think for me, as I've been going through all of this, what's been top of mind for me is how would AI summaries, AI overview, as they call it with Google, how would that help me as a smaller enterprise get my information out through an organic channel like Google? Will AI overview, by nature of just giving an answer through a summary, is that going to remove any click to my website? Am I going to start losing traffic from this? So Google gets to benefit by getting my information, but I don't earn the click, and it's messing up that start of my funnel along with advertising and a whole bunch of other things. And the early stuff coming out of Google, they had a blog post from one of their senior leaders that, and I can show it here on Slate, that Google says that if you go along with this, and you're providing great quality content, there's a high quality level, that you'll see a greater click-through rate. That not only will we get that from the answer citation within the summary, but then people will be more inspired to go and search. And I don't know how I feel about that, and it sounds like others who are other professional marketing experts doubt that as well. As Kevin Indig puts it here, it doesn't really feel true to experience that people aren't really going to visit a greater diversity of websites based on that summarization. If you read my newsletter from last week, we went through the F-shaped pattern of how people review things online. And the vast majority of web users, as the research from the group demonstrated, the vast majority of website users are just looking for a quick answer. They want something that gets you there and you're done. And there's, I think, something to be said about digging deeper into persuasive arguments, of talking more about how content can elucidate some of those gaps in that initial learning experience. But if you can't get them to begin with, are they going to want to go down the rabbit hole with you if you can't attract them at the start when they're doing this initial search? And that's really the distribution question that isn't getting answered, I think, in my opinion. The Verge did something recently as well. They interviewed Google CEO Sundar Pichai about all of this, and the reporter asked him point blank, there's no public data around how more people will click through links in AI overviews. You're going to release that data, you're going to show this is happening, and you've got this answer here that's something more about, people rely on the value of the ecosystem and are being careful around incentivization, but from my reading of it, the short answer is no. Either the data doesn't exist or the data is not going to be shared publicly anytime soon. So really, Google's asking us to take this on faith, that if we play along with the generative AI experience, if we play along with AI overviews, they'll boost links and backlinks and traffic to us somehow. I have a really hard time with this because it just runs counter to the experience of what I see. I just don't believe them. It doesn't mean it's not necessarily true. I'm lacking the empirical evidence. And I think that's been a struggle for, SEO, and especially high quality SEO work for years, has been taking a lot of what Google says on faith. And I think this AI summary stuff is just finally bringing a lot of it to a head, where suddenly we have to really figure out, okay, what is the value exchange? What am I getting out of Google by participating? PR Daily did, a review with some folks who've been working in the space for a while, and I agree with their thoughts overall that it's not necessarily strategy shifting yet. I just don't think we have enough information to really understand where AI overviews are going to start changing this for us. There's still a lot we need to iterate through and figure out. But the bigger question is, we've been told that high quality vetted content will become more important. People are going to be tired of these AI summaries, or the AI summaries need better answers, and it's our responsibility to go in and fill those with high quality content. I'm a believer in high quality content. It's a big part of what I do. But again, what I can't get an answer to is, how is someone going to find this in the first place? My concern with the AI overview stuff is the big dogs in the industry who can already pay to play for like large SEO projects. Aren't they just going to own this too? Isn't there a way in which they, through AI overviews, essentially buy that zero click mentality? They buy that zero click marketing spot. And it's nice to think that users will want to go and find a diversity of opinions. And that's probably going to be true for complex buying, complex purchase, complex buying processes. So I think that's still going to be important too with content, but I don't see it. I don't see the return on value for content creators, especially at that top of funnel when you're getting people's attention. I agree overall with the folks here in this PR Daily article that panic isn't necessarily the answer. I don't think we need to be throwing the baby out with the bathwater here, but it does bring up important questions like how important is organic as a channel going to be? Any good strategy is going to involve more than just organic SEO. But if you're heavily reliant on this now, I would probably be more concerned than less. I wouldn't be panicking, but definitely this is probably the kick in the butt you need to go do something else, or supplement your organic strategy with something else. I think the distribution question of how we get content in front of people in the AI summary world is just a big question mark still, mainly because the way this AI stuff is being presented to consumers, to users, is just different from how it's been in the past. Yes, AI has been running in the background for a really long time. By AI, I mean any kind of algorithmic activity. So this is really the first time I think it's been so front-facing in this way. That's been such a shift in how people are going to use these search functions. In the meantime, though, I think what we can be doing beyond just monitoring is really be digging into how you want to share content outside of Google. So if you're really heavily invested in organic and SEO, it's not to say stop investing, but explore some opportunities around that. I think building communities, or lack of a better word, closed networks, could be one path forward. So as you're building and nurturing audiences, that's, can you put them into a ClickUp group or a Slack group or a newsletter, like an email newsletter? I think a lot of it's going to be how we as companies start owning more of those channels, I think, more authoritatively. It's still, I think, not as powerful of a distribution channel as Google is. Google just has that locked up. But we have to start building things that we can control outside of these companies that can change their minds fairly quickly, as this AI summary stuff has shown us. And I think this still means we need to be creating meaningful, deep content. But again, really thinking about how we distribute this differently. So how do we get in front of the people we need to be talking to? Is informational content from the organic top line stuff really make sense anymore? Or are there other ways we need to use content as we build audiences, build funnels, and get people to take an action that benefits them and our business? We're going to keep researching this and see how it develops. I think there's a long product roadmap ahead of us here to understanding how AI is going to influence content distribution. I think frustratingly, especially for myself, there's just no good answer yet, at least nothing that has the quantitative elements that I would feel good about. It's just kind of a lot of take it on faith and trust us. I struggle with that, but it's also what else are we supposed to do right now? Google kind of owns this space, and as much as I'd like to think through other ways to get around that or work with it, we're kind of beholden to whatever Google wants to do with AI. I guess it's really stay the course right now, and we'll see how it goes. But I do think that if you're not building more owned media, if you're not building channels to get information in front of people, I think you're going to be rudely awakened by what AI searches and summaries are going to do, and how that's going to further concentrate those users' attention onto the biggest players. I think that's the biggest takeaway for me is this is the next step in concentrating power in those who are already the biggest spenders on Google. So be thinking about what other strategies can really fit in there, and I think build from there for now. But really, as always, continue writing great content. Quality work is going to matter. I agree with that. We just need to figure out how to get in front of people. So if you have thoughts or pieces that I missed here or want to ask any questions, tag me. Feel free to ask. Love to dig in with this with all of you. So otherwise, thanks for watching. Appreciate it, gang. Thanks.